World's 7 Greatest Magic Tricks Revealed. Magic has always been a thing that inspires awe from spectators. People, since the dawn of time, were drawn to the unexplained and the mysterious. But in the Middle Ages, all of that shifted, when people started burning the magicians and healers alive for using unknown and mysterious techniques. In the centuries that followed, people started growing accustomed to the world of magic, and they showed particular interest in magic shows, from Houdini all the way up to modern-day David Copperfield. Magic is something that people just can't seem to wrap their heads around, and the internet has made it possible for people to give explanations to various classic magic tricks, revealing that, behind many of them, there is no magic after all. So if you want to demystify the world of magic with us, we invite you to watch the world's 7 greatest magic tricks revealed. Let's dive right in, shall we? Number 7. Magic Bullet Catch. The legendary magic duo, Penn and Teller, have made their version of this infamous trick. It is extremely difficult to pull off, not to mention it looks extremely scary if you're not looking at it through the magician's eyes. The trick begins by choosing 2 audience members who mark and inspect the bullets Penn and Teller are going to use in their trick. They show the camera the sketches they made on the bullets, and they load the guns. After placing their bulletproof vests on, they take their positions. Next, it all comes down to ready, aim, fire. Bang goes the gun, the glass shatters on the ground, and Penn and Teller turn to the audience, grinding their teeth. In their mouths were the bullet heads of the marked bullets. Or were they? The trick is presumably done by artists in the background. After showing the sketches on the bullets, there are artists in the backgrounds that make the same imprint on a different bullet head, which they place inside the pockets of the vests. Upon putting them on, the magicians load the bullets in their mouths. They get into position, and they fire their guns, usually made from wax, which is hard enough to pierce the glass, but not so much that it would harm Penn and Teller. In that moment of frenzy, the duo places the bullet in between their teeth and turns to the audience. Thunderous applause for the tricksters. Number 6. Cups and balls. This is a very simple trick that you can do at home if you only smash that like button. All kidding aside, the only things you need to perform this trick is practice, and more practice. That's it. There's very little techniques that the magicians use in this trick, and it all boils down to using sleight of hand and misdirection. If you want to be like Penn and Teller, you can. Thanks to these guys, there are tons of street magicians in the world that learned this trick thanks to this duo. They broke all of the laws of magic to show us this trick. First, they performed the trick twice. Second, they showed us their prep work. And thirdly, they used transparent cups so the audience member could see all that was going on in the background. If you can memorize all of the steps, you can do this trick in a matter of days. Although you will only be able to perform it for close friends and family at first, within a few months' practice, you can master it and start earning decent bucks from passengers on the street. Number 5. Snake rope. This trick is probably as old as India itself. It has been featured in many different cartoons, movies, and numerous TV shows. This trick has become a classic, and mostly everyone has seen how it's done. It involves an Indian magician playing a flute, and the rope starts going up and up. Then, a little boy from the audience is called forth to climb the sturdy rope. He does so successfully, and then, with a little gesture, the rope falls on the ground, seemingly dangling and losing its livelihood. So, even though you've usually seen the trick being performed, do you know how it's done? There's no actual evidence of how this trick is performed, but digging for a while helped us find a small theory about how the trick comes to life. It involves a man standing in the back and pushing a metal rod that is capable of kneading through a narrow opening in the ground that was previously covered by the flour that the assistant moved when placing the basket on top. When the magician gives the rope to be inspected by his audience members, you can see that it's hollow in the middle. After the boy climbs the rope, the person in the back slowly pulls back on the rod, leaving only the rope, which now falls on the ground. Number 4. Card through phone. This is one of the newer tricks out there that became possible with the development of smartphone technology. There were some similar versions in the past, like the card and the wallet, but this is a version that's up to date with modern times. It involves a magician and one audience member. The audience member chooses a card, remembers it, and then hands it to the magician that slides it into the middle of the deck. From there, the magician opens his phone, and with a flick of the wrist, the card appears inside the phone. With just a little abracadabra, and the magician can pull the card from the phone and present it to the spectators. And just like the previous tricks, this one uses sleight of hand and apps to make the trick possible. The first thing you need to do is download an app called C2P, Card to Phone, where you need to take a screenshot of your background and then turn on the app and let it sit dormant in your pocket. That's all you need when it comes to prep work. The next thing you need to pay attention to is the Vernon's turnover, which is what you'll need to do when the audience is not looking. Then, you take the chosen card, you put it under the already flipped card, and you turn both of them over, with the chosen card being second from the top. You take the top card, slide it in the middle of the deck, and now you have the chosen card on top. With the pinky cut, you can separate it from the top and place it under the phone. You then turn on the app, do some moving around, and flick your wrist. It works like magic. Number 3. Baguette out of thin air. This guy could make bread without baking it. Just give him some raw dough and his hands will turn it into a baguette. Wang Yifeng went viral after releasing this video of him performing the baguette trick. It attracted worldwide attention and the attention of renowned media outlets that wanted to debunk and bust his magic trick. In a different video of the same trick, you can clearly see a man pulling a baguette out of a can in the wall and using the camera angle he managed to cover it. So the media assumed that's what Wang did in his video, so they ran with it. Unfortunately for them, Wang's palm is nowhere close to a wall or a can. So how did he manage to do it? And no, it's not because he's a lizard man, like some conspiracy theorists out there like to believe. As much as we'd like to believe it, that Wang is a real-life proof of an alien living on Earth, the technique he used proves otherwise. Using the power of editing and a technique called chroma key enabled, where you shoot the same scene twice and then you just superimpose the two scenes while seamlessly incorporating the green screen. The proof of this is the yellow line that appears under his forearm for a split second. But what about the spectators? They're all in on the trick. If you don't believe the explanation, have you ever seen anyone doing this trick live? Number 2. Saw a woman in half. What a classic! This magic trick has been redone by magicians from all over the world, going from deadly serious to extremely funny, and there have been various adaptations of the same trick. The basic premise is this: the magician's assistant enters into a box. The magician then takes a huge chainsaw and cuts the box in half. He then separates the two parts and after a few moments brings them back together. The woman jumps from the box with no signs of a bruise or scars. We know you've seen it all, but do you know how it's done? What the magician doesn't want you to know is that there are actually two assistants in the same box, wearing the same clothes. The second assistant lies in the second half of the box and she reveals her legs, only after an assistant on the stage steps onto the box. After the magician closes the lid, he cuts with a chainsaw down a predetermined line, careful not to cut the two parts of the box. The two assistants remain unharmed, one of which jumps up, followed by a thunderous applause. Number 1. Walking on water. Or as we like to call it, Jesus, is that you? There is no doubt this magic trick was inspired by the famous Bible story where Jesus Christ walks on water. Wanting to incarnate the Christian Savior, many magicians have performed this trick throughout the years. It works on a very simple basis, but it's pretty hard to set up. It can be performed over any body of water, from pools to lakes to big fountains. You just need to have a good team which will build the props. The props include a glass bridge that is invisible when submerged. The hard part is figuring out how deep in the lake or river you're going to perform the trick. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. The magician can also decide whether or not he wants to include assistants that are going to swim around him. For that purpose, he can even build a hole under the glass bridge under which the assistants can pass, proving walking spectators that the trick is actually real. That's our list, guys. Do you know how the box with blades magic trick works? Leave your answers in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an upload. As always, thanks for watching.